Hello everyone. Welcome back to second part of this tutorial on standard practices and ethics in engineering. Let's recap quickly. In the last tutorial, I discussed about engineering as a profession, its differences from the other profession, and roles and responsibilities of engineers. While discussing roles and responsibilities, we understood that many factors serve as a dual role of roles and responsibilities. This is indicative to understand that while working as an engineer, balance of business model and professional model must be satisfied at the same time. Business model will drive an engineer more towards responsibility or accountability, and professional model will make him aware about the roles to be played. Both these models demand reasoning ability either for product or services to be catered in the well-being of society. This is due to strong belief that engineering act meant for adding comfort to human life. In doing so, impact of engineering activity on social life must undergo screening for deciding good or bad, obviously with some several aspects. This demands some rule or standards to be defined for balancing techno-commercial and societal phase of engineering. This sets a tone for further discussion on ethics and moral in engineering profession. So in this tutorial, let's discuss about ethical practices and code of conduct from engineer's perspective with a couple of examples demonstrating the same. First things first, let's try and understand ethics in its general sense. As we understand, ethics, the word is originated from a Greek word ethos, that means character. Guidelines for building character in personal and professional life are termed as professional ethics and personal ethics. Either an individual or a professional unit like company always strive to create a good character or image in the society or among their competitors in the market. In general, ability to decide good or bad for an individual depends on personal value. Sometimes we refer that as a principle or virtues or morals. These are the part of personal ethics. In professional life, values defined for institution or company always works in cognizance or in tandem with personal values and subsequently decides good or bad collectively. Personal ethics is an internal to oneself, while professional ethics are imposed externally with some kind of expectation. Although personal and professional value complement each other in deciding good or bad, either will not be able to or enough to drive a decision alone. This is evident from many examples, those portraits dilemma examples in the ethical conduct. We shall see these examples in the next section of this particular tutorial. So let's understand ethics from engineer's perspective. While working as an individual or a part of a team for a common cause, engineers would come across various interactions, work profiles, decision-making schedules, or various deals with the client. In doing so, many times, conflict might be possible because of wrong or unaccepted behavior in personal and professional conduct. This requires different guidelines to resolve or pacify the conflict in different work profiles, helps to build common ground for decision making and resolving the issues. Apart from this particular significant benefit, there are a couple of tangible benefits that engineer would observe after following this professional ethics. So let's discuss these tangible benefits after following the professional ethics. Engineers act would be honest and in line with the integrity of the profession. After following a professional ethics, the expected outcome might be as closely to an accuracy, and the rigor would be elevated in the subsequent operations. It will help in trading off between personal and professional decisions to arrive at some accepted solution. This is in fact for which the code of conduct is written. This also helps in building the respect for life, law, and well-being of the society. And last but not the least, it helps in to build responsible leadership by avoiding favors and offering dignified treatments. Dignified treatments, I mean, one is expected to treat others in the same way as you wanted to get treated. By making use of defined guidelines from related professional bodies, professional life of an engineer becomes easy and structured. Let's get to know some of the professional bodies that defines code of ethics and code of conduct. Every discipline of engineering has their own body to cater the need and guide engineer in that discipline. Few bodies focuses strictly to the relevant sector, while others are broad enough to accommodate for engineering as a profession. Some of these accommodative bodies are National Society for Professional Engineers, Royal Society for Engineers, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer, as we know as IEEE, a joint task force by ASEAN, IEEE and CS on software engineering ethics and professional ethics. There are a couple of other professional bodies related to discipline of engineering. For example, Society of Automotive Engineering, or Association of Mechanical Engineering, Association of Chemical Engineering, so on and so forth. While discussing the code of ethics and code of conduct, the question arises that is code of ethics and code of conduct same? In order to answer this, let us investigate difference between code of ethics and code of conduct. Many practitioners mistakenly use these two words interchangeably. In fact, code of ethics describes or postulates guidelines which governs decision making, while code of conduct governs the action. So bigger organizations sometimes have both these codes in separate format, or sometimes they club it into a general ethics document. This document basically blends principles for the right action with a right action that are required or forbidden, that is prohibited. List of actions oriented towards prevention of professional malpractice and harm to public is normally seen as a negative phase of ethics and is called as preventive ethics. Other phase of ethics as a positive dimension motivates to use knowledge, skill, and expertise for well-being of the society and referred as aspirational ethics. Most of the statements in code of ethics by several professional bodies have preventive ethics as a major share as against of aspirational ethics. Aspirational ethics always stood second. NSPE integrates this code of conduct under this particular unified fashion itself. Opposite direction for ethics and conduct, as can be seen from the picture, illustrate the fact that engineers by moral values might not agree to certain decisions, but would carry out an action targeting at professional benefits or facility in societal context. Let us understand it through some example, the conflicting nature of moral and ethics. Engineer working at windmill power generation agrees to install and operate huge wind turbine, even though he morally disagrees to accept the environmental loss due to huge turbine. When outcome results in the favor of society, in this case adequate electricity to rural area, moral will be suppressed by engineering ethics, and engineers would continue working with an agreement to use technology that minimizes loss to environment. So we understand that ethics and moral might not be necessarily two sides of the coin and coexist in the different pursuits. After discussing code of ethics and conduct in general, let's study code of ethics as charted in NSPE. The NSPE code of ethics is the product of collective reflection of the members from one professional society. However, it seems intended to address the ethical responsibilities of all practicing engineers. Primary goal of this particular ethics is to build trustworthiness for global acceptance for either individual or for a company through professional and personal ethics. My choice of discussing NSP Code of Ethics is twofold. Number one, this Code of Ethics is acceptable to all the engineering disciplines. And second, it represents commonality in most of the code of ethics by other professional bodies. So this is in fact an accommodative code of ethics made by NSP. The code of ethics is divided into three primary parts. Number one, fundamental canons, which are the broad expectations from practicing engineers, which focuses on action part, so considered as code of conduct. Second part referred as rule of practice, which details the possible conditions to follow in order to comply with expectations mentioned in the first part as fundamental canons. The third part deals with professional obligations, which deals with principles to follow, so considered as code of ethics, and possible representative cases to support technical statements. Let's understand NSP Code of Ethics in detail. Second section in NSP Code of Ethics details the principles mentioned in first part. So we club these two parts for discussion. Detailing statements mentioned in every rule of practice are exhaustive and like a statement those we found in the book of law, a bit difficult to understand. Here we will discuss broad meaning suggested by every statement with possible examples. So let's continue in understanding this ethics mentioned into this first and second part of this NSP. The first rule of practice, we can understand that compliance of three aspects such as safety, health, and welfare of the public is expected by an engineer. Detailing statement, those follows these expectations are, for example, if engineer can see potential danger in the future by the design system, then he should inform that immediately to an authority. Engineers are not supposed to make an approval for documents which are non-compliant to an applicable standards. Like medical instruments, approval should be strictly to compliance of the standard, which ensures the safety of human beings. No data or information to be made public without consent of the allied clients. Misuse or association of engineer's name with fraudulent client or dishonest enterprises is to be avoided. Engineer is advised to be vigilant for unlawful activity in the company and dare to report authority in all the cases. The next rule says engineers should perform services only in the areas of their competence. So some of the instances related to competencies are: competence is to be ensured either by professional degree or experience, without which engineering assignments are not to be undertaken. Engineers should not authorize or sign any document with lack of confidence, or if that document is not being prepared without his consent or control. At higher cadre, when coordination or management of the project is being made, engineers should enough care to be taken for ensuring authorization of related sectors by respective competent engineers. This is found very closely when coordinating multidisciplinary project teams. The engineer shall issue public statements only in an objective and truthful manner. This practice is related to communication of engineer to external world. While issuing public statement, subjectivity is to be eliminated and issuance of statement should be based on facts and figures with current details only. Our engineer should take care for not favoring any paid or solicited parties, which becomes the subject matter of criticism or arguments in the future. The next rule says that engineers shall act for each employer or client as a faithful agent or trustee. Here some action rules are mentioned which are not bring, or rather which will not bring disgrace to company when engineer represents that company. For example, not supposed to disclose any confidential information, should not accept favors or compensations from the party, no promises to multiple parties related to the same project. In short, engineers should not involve in activities by which trustworthiness or repute of the company will be at stake. The next act says that engineers shall avoid deceptive acts. Various acts which are considered as a deceptive one. For example, falsifying or permitting misinterpretation of own as well as associates' qualification for some interest, exaggeration of responsibilities to portray false importance for some interest to be avoided, no bribing, commission, gifts to favor a decision or a party for being favored. In short, engineers should conduct themselves honorably, responsibly, ethically, and lawfully to enhance the honor, reputation, and usefulness of the profession. Let us see third section of NSP Code of Ethics, which is related to professional obligations as an engineer. All expectations mentioned into this section are found to be a blend of morality and professional values. These are in fact in line with the actions seen just earlier section and support or strengthen the rule of practice. These statements are self-explanatory, so we shall quickly review those statements. Engineers shall be guided in all their relations by the highest standard of honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity are really the very heavy words while practicing and engineering. But after following these two words meticulously, an engineer would be immensely respected with all its associations. Engineers shall at all times strive to serve the public interest. Engineers shall avoid all conduct or practice that deceives the public. Engineers shall not disclose without consent confidential information concerning to the business affair or technical process of any present or former client or employer or public body on which they serve. Engineers shall not be influenced in their professional duties by conflicting interest. He shall not attempt to obtain employment or advancement of professional engagement by untrustfully criticizing other engineers or by other improper or questionable methods. As it is being generally said that we should not have a law in our hand. Likewise, parallelly, engineers shall not attempt to injure maliciously or falsely, directly or indirectly, the personal reputation, prospects, practice, or employment of the other engineers. Engineers who believe others are guilty of unethical or illegal practice shall present such information to the proper authority for action. He shall accept the personal responsibility even though the tasks are of highly professional in nature. So that definitely may seek indemnification for services arising out of their practice for other than the gross negligence, where the engineer's interest cannot be otherwise protected. The last obligation that is being made in this particular section is engineers shall give credit for engineering work to those whom credit is due and will recognize the proprietary interest of others. So by Seeing all these particular professional obligations, we can confirm that this is a blend of morality as well as professional ethics. It's not only in favoring the professional interest, but it stems out from internal that the way of behavior has to be clean and clear in order to success in the professional life of an engineer. If we decide to have some conclusion remarks on NSP Code of Ethics, then let me put it in the way that it's very easy to see that limitation of a professional ethics that's confined to negative dimensions most of the time. So one of the limitations is relative absence of the motivational dimension. If we think of today's context of aspiring engineers, we get to know that budding engineers are very aggressive and has an ambitious dream, which is complemented by their potentials. Engineers do not choose engineering career in order to prevent disasters or to avoid professional misconduct. To be sure, many engineering students desire the financial rewards and social position that an engineering career promises. And this is legitimate. We can see around that engineering students are also attracted by the prospects of making a difference in the world and doing it in a positive way. They are excited by projects that alleviates the human drudgery through labor-saving devices, eliminate diseases by providing clean water and sanitation, develop new medical devices that saves lives, create automobiles that runs on less fuel and are of less polluting, and preserve the environment with recyclable products. Most of us probably believes that these activities and many of this order improves the quality of human life by quantum. So all discussed attributes of engineering ethics essentially contributes towards prohibition of professional misconduct, directs to the ethical way of engineering practices, and at certain times makes aware how not to get trapped or attract oneself into lawful act. These are what the benefits that engineer would definitely get while practicing if they abide with this kind of ethics. Towards the end of this tutorial, let's discuss a recent innovative example that showcased the use of technology for well-being of society and also blended with moral and engineering ethics. So we'll discuss it under the sample case with dilemma between ethics and moral. Dilemma are the cases or problems where one cannot be very sure in deciding an act for right or wrong by virtue of conflict between moral and ethics. Such problem typically does not govern a specific solution, but engineers need to act on such problem by trading off between various options and optimize the result for the same. Let's investigate one of such problems with its possible solution and try to make some sense for optimal solutions for it. The example that I'm about to discuss is Bandicoot, a manhole scavenger robot made from Chennai-based robotic company called Gen Robotics from last 2 years. This robot eliminates a tedious and risky task of manhole cleaning by humans. As we know, poisonous gases in manhole are more vulnerable to health issues of workers and reported in the past with loss of many lives. This engineering assignment was aimed to eliminate laborious works in manhole completely. But parallelly, there are many workers who earn their wages with this job for many years. Suddenly, intervention of this robot threatens the worker with loss of their jobs and forced unemployment. This creates a dilemma between health, safety, against livelihood of manhole scavengers. Well-being of this section of the society is a kind of sacrifice against positive side of preserving health and safety. This portrays a picture of conflict between ethical practice of engineering that claims health preservation and moral disagreement of losing daily wages of scavengers. So at one end, protection of health, offering safety, and at the other end, unemployment of the scavengers. Solution to this particular problem is a kind of address by the company itself in a form of semi-automated variants of this robot, which is assisted and operated by experienced workers from the ground in case of unidentified or untrained manholes. This is an example of collaborative robots, a need of the society to balance out health and wealth issue of scavengers and satisfy both the aspects at a time. Like there are many examples which poses a conflict between ethical conduct and moral or business ethics. I rest to learner to find out more such examples and their possible solutions. These solutions could be an open-ended or close-ended as it is discussed in this example. On this note, I end this tutorial with an anticipation of added value to your understanding of engineering practice and ethics. Thank you very much for your patience.